if I go up, and there is Ankalaev and his name Alex Pereira, they are fighting now. Who is winning can fight for that belt as well. So, yeah.
It's the fastest way, if the guy wins the fight, fastest way to get the pound for pound, number one.
UFC 319 is still 9 days away, but Khamzat Chimaev has already set his goals for the future after beating Dricus du Plessis and becoming the middleweight champion. The Russian monster has made it clear that he will aim to become a triple champion after UFC 319. In a recent interview, Khamzat Chimaev discussed becoming a 3-division champion, stating that he's chasing big goals in the UFC. He remains open to facing top names in multiple weight classes, whether it's dropping down to fight someone like Jack Della Maddalena or moving up to challenge Magomed Ankalaev or Alex Pereira. For Chimaev, it's about proving he can beat the best across all divisions, not just winning one belt.
I work with the new coach, Coach Kao. I talk about him, go down again, back to my first fights, you know, that 170 or 75, what was that? 170. He said it gives me a couple of months, we're gonna make it. So I don't know who is the champ there. This guy, Australian guy. Yeah, would be a good fight for me, and go down fight with him as well.
Yeah,
could take the belt there. And if I go up, and there is Ankalaev and his name Alex Pereira, they are fighting now. Who is winning can fight for that belt as well. So, yeah.
Talking about his upcoming fight against DDP, Khamzat Chimaev dismissed the idea that du Plessis has a strange fighting style. He said people often call it weird, but to him, it's just MMA. Chimaev acknowledged that du Plessis does his job well and is a good fighter, but confidently added, "I'm better."
What do you think about Dricus, right? Because sometimes you look at his fights and he fights in a very weird way, a strange style. When you look at him, do you think, man, this guy's very good, or this guy's just very strange?
Oh, everyone says it's weird style, weird. That's MMA style, you know? So I don't think it's some crazy weird, but he does his job, he does good, and he's a good fighter, but I'm better.
On the other hand, Dricus du Plessis declared that he was ready to make history again, vowing to shock the world by breaking the so-called boogeyman. He said there can only be one true boogeyman in the middleweight division, and it's going to be him.
He is a special fighter. He's incredibly good. But, jeez, I can't wait. This win for me is going to be history. I am going out there and I'm going to shock the world once again. Like every other time, and everybody said it's impossible, not this guy. And I'm going to go out there and you're going to see the boogeyman. You're going to see him break. You're going to see him break in there. And then realize there's only one boogeyman, and that's me. In the middleweight division, there can be only one boogeyman, and that will be me.
Dricus du Plessis made it clear that personal relationships mean nothing when it comes to defending his title. He said he would fight his own brother if he had to, even promising he'd try to kill him in the cage, despite calling him his best friend. Du Plessis admitted he's trained with Reinier de Ridder before, but insisted that wouldn't stop him from facing him in a real fight.
I honestly think that if Kyle Barao beats Imamov, they are going to make him and Reinier de Ridder fight for #1 contender.
Given that relationship,
if Imamov beats Kyle, they're going to give him the title shot because it's time.
Okay. Given that relationship and that history, would you have any issues fighting RDR if you had to?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I would fight my brother for my title if I have to. And I would try to kill him, I promise you that. And he's my best friend.
So the whole teammate thing, all that doesn't work in your world.
No, it's when we get in there are no friends. There are no relationships in a fight.
However, Dricus du Plessis also admitted that he isn't planning to move up to light heavyweight anytime soon, as he feels there's still work to be done at middleweight. While he admits moving up is a long-term goal, he wants to defend his title at least 3 times first. Du Plessis notes the division is finally evolving, with new contenders entering the top 5 after years of stagnation, making it the perfect time to stay and compete.
When you win at this weight, will you move up to another weight and fight at 205?
Yeah, I think that's been the goal. The long-term goal is to move up. I'm still young in my career,
31 years old. There's a lot of time left, and I'm a firm believer that at least 3 title defenses. This will be my 3rd before you move up in weight. And then, of course, the division needs to be cleaned out, in my opinion, before you move on to the next division. The middleweight division is looking very, very exciting at the moment. You know, the shuffle in the top 5. I mean, the top 5 has been looking the same for many years, and over the last year, 3 changes. I mean, Robert Whittaker being out of the top 5 for the first time in 8 years. And, you know, I've fought everybody in the top 5 up until last week. Now there's 2 new names in the top 5, which means the division is getting alive.
This fight is currently the talk of the town, and Sean O'Malley shared his excitement about this highly anticipated clash between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis, calling it one of the most thrilling matchups in the sport right now. He revealed that he recently rewatched Dricus's fight with Israel Adesanya before training and was impressed by how sharp and dominant du Plessis looked for most of the bout. O'Malley noted that DDP was clearly in control until the later rounds when things shifted. While a rematch with Adesanya would be fun, O'Malley said his full attention is on the high-stakes showdown between Chimaev and du Plessis.
DDP versus Khamzat. What is that, like 2-3 weeks? Like,
yep.
Holy. I just actually watched DDP versus Israel this morning before practice. And dude, Izzy was looking so good in that fight. Like, I remember watching it and thinking, like, I only had rewatched it just this one time, but watching it live, I remember thinking like Izzy looked good, and I kind of, for the most part, dominating the fight. And then that 4th round just kind of got hit up top on the head and just, you know, went downhill real fast from there. But God, Izzy was looking good in that fight. So I'd like to see Izzy come back. Izzy versus Sean too would be sweet. But yeah, Khamzat versus DDP is very exciting for me right now.
Meanwhile, Michael Venom Page admitted he's puzzled by Dricus du Plessis' continued success, calling his style messy and unrefined. He said DDP often looks more like a skilled amateur than a seasoned professional, yet consistently finds a way to win. MVP added that if this matchup with Khamzat Chimaev had happened earlier, he would have confidently picked Khamzat, but now, with Dricus proving himself time and again, he finds it much harder to predict.
I genuinely don't understand why DDP keeps winning, because he's got such a kind of almost messy, he's like a super talented amateur fighter, and I can see like aspects of his technical ability, but it seems messy. Like, it's not a style that is appealing to me, but he just seems to know how to get the win and know how to kind of push through. In all honesty, if this fight came up before, I'd be like, Khamzat, yeah, no, I'd just pick that, no issues. But DDP just knows how to keep grinding out a win. So for me, it's a hard one to even pick.
Mike Perry also gave his take on the UFC 319 main event, describing Dricus du Plessis as an awkward iron boulder with surprisingly effective skills. While most fans are siding with Khamzat Chimaev, Perry leans toward DDP, pointing to his strength, unorthodox approach, and non-stop pressure. He even imagines du Plessis pulling off something wild, like jumping on Khamzat's back for a backpack-style finish.
Some people are like, oh, Khamzat all day. Some people are like, DDP all day. You know, Khamzat trains in like Sweden and like California, and Dricus trains in the trenches of Africa. I think DDP is just this awkward boulder. He's just an iron boulder. Khamzat has skills. He's gonna jump on the back. He's gonna pull some backpack.
Yeah, he's gonna like he tried on Rob, but I don't think you're gonna be able to, like you just said, dude. He is just like an iron boulder. Like, he's gonna survive. It's gonna end up being like the Gilbert Burns and Khamzat fight.
Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan has seen noticeable improvement in Khamzat Chimaev's training recently. He described the energy in the gym as focused and intense, with everyone working toward a clear goal. While Arman hasn't sparred with Khamzat yet, he respects fighters who are serious about becoming champions. He also said he's always open to helping those who are putting in the work to reach the top.
Hello everybody, I'm Arman Tsarukyan. We have a training camp with Khamzat Chimaev. He's getting ready for his title fight. He looks sharp, so excited for him and to see him UFC champion. So far his camp going well, he's healthy, he has a lot of energy, and I'm just here to help him whatever they need. If they need the wrestling, I'll wrestle. If they need the striking, I'll strike. So I'm here to help, and I want him to be a UFC champion.
Arman Tsarukyan revealed that Khamzat Chimaev has struggled in the past by overtraining and entering fights below peak condition. To fix this, Khamzat now has a coach tracking his recovery levels daily using a monitoring device. Arman believes this new system is helping Khamzat train smarter and avoid burnout.
Выходит на пик, так как он любит очень много тренироваться, его на тренировках надо останавливать. Он, допустим, поспарринговал, идет там мешок бьет, потом лапы бьет, потом пойдет штангу покачается. То есть он из тех парней, которым нужно остановить и сказать: все, Хамзат, порастягивайся и уходи. Его проверяют каждый день, его восстановление, он встает, и есть монитор, где показывает его восстановление каждое утро. И если он находится в яме, то из ямы вытаскивают, дают больше отдохнуть, и чтобы он был свеж и мог выполнить. Потому что ты, если придешь перетренированный на спарринг, ты не сможешь отработать. И из-за этого вот этого парня нужен человек, который будет 24/7 контролировать его и останавливать, чтобы он не перетренировался.
Moreover, Brendan Schaub also called Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev one of the most compelling matchups the middleweight division has ever produced. He admitted it's tough to predict how things will play out, given Khamzat's unbeaten run and du Plessis' rise as a proven contender in his prime. Schaub praised DDP's grit and unorthodox style, saying he always finds a way to win. He also brushed off lingering doubts about Khamzat's cardio, claiming he's seen firsthand how much it's improved in training and doesn't view it as a concern anymore.
Am I a prisoner of the moment? I feel like DDP Khamzat is one of the greatest middleweight competitions to ever happen in the UFC. You got Khamzat undefeated, boogeyman, DDP already a middleweight great in a prime of his career. I have no clue how this is going to fold out. No clue. No clue. Gun to the head, DDP is so good, so durable, so big, and just finds a way to win. He's just an absolute winner. He's one of my faves. And he's so unorthodox. And you have Khamzat, this boogeyman. Obviously, cardio was an issue for him back in the day. I'm here to tell you now, I've personally, with these peepers, have seen the man train. Cardio is not an issue.
Brendan Schaub said the outcome hinges on whether Khamzat Chimaev can land takedowns early. If he fails to get Dricus du Plessis down within the first 2 rounds and begins to slow down, Schaub believes DDP will finish him in the later rounds. He added that he's especially curious to see what kind of game plan Khamzat brings into this fight.
But that's all predicated on, let's say Khamzat goes in there and tries to get DDP down in the first 2 rounds and can't get it done, and he gets tired. DDP in that 3rd, 4th, and 5th will finish him, you know? So I'm interested to see what Khamzat's game plan is.
In another interview, Brendan Schaub predicted a difficult test ahead for Khamzat Chimaev, mainly due to Dricus du Plessis' size and physicality. He said if Khamzat is going to win, it likely has to happen early, but what really interests him is how Khamzat handles the later rounds. Schaub pointed out that Dricus is tough to finish and added that since both fighters bring very different styles, the unpredictability only adds to the intrigue of the matchup.
Khamzat's big, right? Khamzat's big. DDP's my size. I don't know if you know.
No way.
You seen the picture of him and Bisping? Bisping's a big dude. DDP dwarfs big. DDP is walks around about 240. The first round, of course, if Khamzat wins, and if it ends before 2 rounds, it's Khamzat all day. I would extend that after seeing this to even the first 3 rounds. 4 and 5 is what I want to see. I want to see Khamzat in the 4th and 5th. And if Khamzat's lighting his ass up, because DDP is going to be tough to finish. So if Khamzat's in the 4th and 5th finish him, then you got one. So for Khamzat, it's going to be dealing with that mass.
Who has DDP fought that's even close to that style, that explosive, shoot from 10 feet out, grab you, not let go till he gets what he wants?
That's why it's a great fight. Because DDP hasn't fought anybody like Khamzat, and Khamzat hasn't fought anybody like DDP.
Meanwhile, Rainier de Ridder said he'd rather see Dricus du Plessis defeat Khamzat Chimaev, believing it would benefit the division's momentum. He explained that if Khamzat wins in dominant fashion, he could become such a big star that he might step away for a while. In contrast, de Ridder felt Dricus would stay more active and likely defend the title within 4 to 6 months.
Is there one that you lean towards in terms of like which one would you prefer?
Well, Khamzat is, of course, I think if Khamzat wins this one, especially if he wins decisively, it'll be like a huge name, all right? And that might come with him taking a lot of time off after. So it might be better if Dricus wins, and then we can fight in 4 to 6 months. That would be best, I think. Yeah.
I'm sure, like, the reality is, like, Khamzat could win but then be out for a year, and I know you don't want to wait that long.
Nah, exactly. So hopefully it would be nice if Dricus wins and we can line it up. Yeah.
In another interview, Reinier de Ridder favored Dricus du Plessis, crediting his explosive starts and constant forward pressure. He said it was still difficult to assess where Khamzat Chimaev really stands, since the quick win over Robert Whittaker didn't show much. While he acknowledged Chimaev may have improved since then, de Ridder felt there were still too many unknowns to be fully confident in his level.
Dricus is a guy who doesn't really hold anything back anyway in the first couple of rounds, so that's why I feel like Dricus is might be the favorite in my mind, but we'll see. We haven't seen Khamzat as active. We didn't see a lot from him in the Whittaker fight because he took him down, stayed on top, and then finished him pretty quickly. So I'm curious. Maybe he evolved a lot as well. We don't really know where Khamzat is at, because he might have just really upped his game and really evolved as a fighter as well.
Luke Rockhold also gave his thoughts on the Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis matchup, acknowledging Chimaev's danger with his wrestling, pressure, and ground game. However, he questioned whether Khamzat can keep that pace for 5 rounds, referencing the Usman and Gilbert Burns fights. Rockhold, who has trained with du Plessis, said Dricus doesn't fade and knows how to survive when things get tough.
Somebody who's seen a lot of mixed martial arts. You do the Jackson podcast, Santos Studios. Right now, Khamzat Chimaev, the Wolf, he is there training. You've grappled with him. He's got a big fight against DDP, Dricus du Plessis, someone you've had a lot of rounds with. After feeling both those men, how does that fight play out?
We'll see how it plays out. I think Khamzat is very good at wrestling. He's very good on the ground. He's very good at pressure. The longevity of the fight hasn't been his best approach. So you see with Usman, you see with Gilbert. Tough test. I put a lot of rounds in with DDP, and he don't go away. So unless he gets to him early, it's gonna be tough late.
So if he doesn't put him away early, it's a DDP type of fight.
I think that's the way the DDP goes. You know, he manages to get through, weathers the storms, and he keeps going. That's what champions do, and that's why DDP's on top.
Similarly, Robert Whittaker admitted it's difficult to say who can beat Dricus du Plessis right now. He described Dricus as a gritty, relentless fighter who simply refuses to quit, regardless of how the fight unfolds. Whittaker said Dricus is more likely to beat himself than be dominated by someone else. As long as he keeps pushing and digging deep, he's hard to stop, but the moment that breaks, that's when someone could finally take him out.
Who do you think has the best chance of beating Dricus at this point?
Hard to say. You know, I think Dricus is the sort of guy that will lose to himself.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the way he fights, I think it's obviously with every fight, it's very heavy mindset driven. You know, especially for he's tough as nails and he never quits, and he beats a lot of people on the backs of him not going anywhere. You know what I mean? You see a lot of his wins that way. I think like the day that he can't push, the day that he can't find that, the day that he might lose.
Robert Whittaker had more praise for Dricus du Plessis, calling him physically strong, extremely tough, and a hard worker. When asked by Ariel Helwani if Dricus is the champion he hopes to beat to regain the belt, Whittaker said that's the fight he wants most. He admitted his bout with Chimaev was tough, but it's the loss to Dricus that stands out, and getting that one back would be the ideal way to close his chapter.
He's got a head of steel. He's a tough guy. He's strong. He's physically fit. He puts in the work, you know. Yeah.
When you talked about that dream of winning the belt and riding off into the sunset, is he the champion that you're beating because you have the history with him, or does that not matter who has the belt?
No, I'd like to fight him again.
Yeah, is that one?
That would be the icing on the cake.
Of all the ones that you would like to have back, is that the one at the top of the list?
Yeah, it is. You know, because the Chimaev fight's a very different fight camp, and it's not a super fun, right? But yeah, that's
That's the one.
Robert Whittaker said he still believed he was the better fighter than Dricus du Plessis, even after the loss. Looking back on their first bout, he felt he let himself down mentally more than anything. He admitted it wasn't just about skills. That fight came down to mindset, and he wanted the opportunity to fix that.
Because you think you're better than him?
I think, honestly, I do think I'm better than him, you know, but well, I think I'm better than everybody. Even when I lose, right? It's mainly that in our first pairing, I let myself down in that fight.
In what way?
And I want to correct that. I just didn't have the headspace, the right headspace to go in and beat him.
Dominic Cruz also gave his thoughts on the Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis matchup, praising Dricus for his movement, stance switching, and strong takedown defense. He highlighted how du Plessis' ability to stay off the center line makes it harder for opponents to shoot. While acknowledging Dricus' size and strength as advantages early, Cruz believed this would be the toughest challenge of du Plessis' career.
Dricus. Yes. Man, I actually really like Dricus right now, the way he's looking. Like I said in the Schmo interview, he doesn't really stay on the center line. His striking and the stance switch really supports him in the rest of the takedown defense. Because as long as you don't sit right in front of a guy consistently, it's hard to get a hold of the legs and shoot on you. So he's also very big and strong, so I think he can challenge the strength of Chimaev in the first 2 rounds, which a lot of people haven't been able to rival. Just the strength alone has been too much, and I think Dricus is sturdy enough and big enough he can challenge it, but I will say I think it might be the toughest fight of his career so far.
On the contrary, Anthony Hernandez shared his thoughts on the matchup, calling Dricus du Plessis a tough, awkward, and dangerous opponent for anyone. He questioned whether Khamzat Chimaev had truly faced a big natural middleweight like Dricus, aside from Robert Whittaker, and wondered how Khamzat would handle that size and versatility. In the end, Anthony backed Dricus to win, believing his grit and durability would carry him through.
Honestly, dude, DDP's a tough, awkward motherfucker, and Chimaev has never fought like I don't know, has he fought, like, besides Whittaker, has he fought any, like, real 85ers? I'm curious to see how he does with the actual big motherfucker, you know what I mean? That can fight everywhere. Tough, you know what I mean? And he shows that in every single fight. I don't know, I think DDP is still going to be champ.
So that's all we have from today's video, and hopefully you have enjoyed it. Share your predictions for this matchup in the comments section, and subscribe to our channel to get more updates about UFC.